I know we're supposed to talk about maths in real life, but my real life is basically just making this game right now. So I thought I'd go over 3 top maths problems that Spruce is experiencing with his game and how I solved them.
Number 1.
So in the game I have these posters, and when you rotate them to point upwards, it works fine. But if you move this, then all the numbers go super wacky. So it turns out if you move the x-axis, it goes in this direction. If you move the y-axis, it goes in this direction. And if you move the z-axis, it goes in the same direction as the y-axis. So I did some Googling, and I found this thing called gimbal lock, which is basically when the 2 axes get lined up and you lose a degree of freedom. So I did some more Googling, and I found this thing called quaternions, which seemed to solve the problem. I talked to this nice man, who led me to this nice man, and this guy explained the quaternions with all this 3D complex number stuff. Anyway, the engine I was using used quaternions as part of its library. So, bingo bango, slap that in, and then the rotation works properly. Also, this snake that used to look like this now looks like this.
Number 2.
So in the game I have this feature where the player can swipe to move their object, and I wondered how can I take a start position and an end position and make it into a direction to move the object in. So remember how in 2D you can take a big point and then a small point, and you can subtract the two and then you get a vector to go in between them? It turns out you can do the same thing in 3D. So all you have to do is take the first thing, subtract the second thing, multiply it by a constant, whack it into the physics engine, bada boom, bada bing, Peter Pan, Stephen King, you're in. This one was actually a lot easier than expected.
Number 3.
So in the game, I wanted the player preview to kind of reflect off the walls like this, and I didn't really know how to do it. Now, in the engine I was using, there was a thing in the library called vector3.reflect, and I thought, oh great, this is easy, don't mind if I do. Turns out that doesn't work at all, it just produces broken garbage. So I had to make up my own solution. But since it's all virtual, I think it still kind of counts as applied maths. This took hours and hours of bashing my head against the wall and coding stuff, and it breaking, and it not working, and it not working, and it not working, and it not... I'll give you the short version. So, if the player's about to hit the wall, you cast a ray out from the player's current position towards their direction until it hits a wall. Then you grab the angle between the incoming vector and the normal of the wall that you just hit. Then you get the cross product of the two vectors to account for the negative angles, and then you get the quaternion of the rotation of the incoming vector by angle x towards the world up rotation, and then you multiply that by the incoming vector again to get it over to the other side. You add that to the original transform point, and then you log that result. And then you comment out the whole thing because it wasn't fun in the first place.